If you crave the unknown, but fear the dark, then Delphi. After dawn is your sanctuary. As the first light of dawn breaks through the night, we embark on a journey into the mysteries that chill the spine. I'm your host, Jason King, and together, we'll explore the stories that lurk in the shadows. Each episode, we unravel chilling tales of unsolved crimes, police corruption, and heart-wrenching disappearances. Imagine a world where over 600,000 people vanished last year alone in the U.S., leaving behind only questions and heartache. Violent crime is on the rise, and the shadows grow longer each day. By joining us, you become a beacon for the voiceless, a light in the darkness. Together, we'll shine a light on society's darkest corners, uncovering the truths that hide in plain sight. From the eerie silence of abandoned buildings to the bustling streets where secrets are whispered, we leave no stone unturned. Tune in to Delphi After Dawn, where understanding is just a story away. Join us and let the journey begin. As we delve deeper, remember that every story has a heartbeat, a pulse that connects us all. We navigate through the labyrinth of human experience, seeking answers and shedding light on the unknown. So prepare yourself for a journey like no other, where every revelation brings us closer to the truth. Delphi. After Dawn is more than just a podcast. It's a community of seekers, united by curiosity and compassion. Together, we can make a difference, one story at a time. Join us and let the journey begin anew. The small town of Flora, Indiana, is etched in memory, not for its quaint charm, but for the tragic fire it endured. On November 21st, 2016, flames engulfed the home. So 4 young lives were trapped within. The heart of Flora, a town where everyone knew their neighbor, shattered. The fire, a monstrous entity, seemed to mock their helplessness. It roared, consuming not just wood and brick, but a piece of Flora's soul. The fire left behind a scar, a painful reminder of the fragility of life. The authorities launched an investigation. The community, reeling from the shock, grappled with grief and suspicion. Small towns thrive on familiarity. Flora, Indiana, was no different. But beneath the surface, a sense of unease was brewing. Whispers of a troubled home on Columbia Street circulated. Galen Rose, a young mother, struggled to keep her family afloat. The warning signs were there, subtle but present, like smoke signals in the night. But small towns also have a way of looking the other way. The tragedy of the Flora fires lies not just in the event itself, but in the events that preceded it. It forces us to confront a difficult question. Could this have been prevented? The smoke signals, once ignored, now served as a haunting reminder of the tragedy that could have been averted. Autumn in Flora was always a spectacle. But the autumn of 2016 held a different kind of change. There was a sense of foreboding, an undercurrent of unease that settled over the town. The air, usually filled with the laughter of children playing, seemed heavy with unspoken anxieties. The autumn of 2016, once a season of beauty and reflection, was becoming a season of secrets and shadows. On Columbia Street, a modest home stood silent. Inside, Galen Rose carried the weight of the world on her shoulders. The demands of raising 4 young children on her own were immense. The weight of their secrets, heavy and suffocating, pressed down on them, threatening to consume them all. Small towns thrive on gossip. So it was with the whispers about the Rose family. Neighbors, catching glimpses of the turmoil behind closed doors, shared their concerns in hushed tones. But amidst the whispers, there was a sense of helplessness. The whispers, like smoke signals rising from a distant fire, held a message of warning. The days leading up to November 21st were deceptively normal. But beneath the surface, a sense of foreboding lingered. The air was thick with unspoken tension, a palpable stillness that settled over Flora. The natural world, so in tune with the rhythms of life, seemed to be holding its breath. The town, bathed in the golden light of a setting sun, held its breath, bracing itself for the darkness that was to come. Nightfall descended upon Flora, cloaking the town in an unsettling stillness. On Columbia Street, the Rose House, shrouded in darkness, appeared almost peaceful. But the illusion of tranquility was shattered shortly after midnight. Flames, hungry and relentless, were licking their way up the side of the Rose House. The fire, fueled by dry timber and driven by a relentless wind, spread with terrifying speed. The piercing wail of a siren sliced through the night, shattering the stillness. A neighbor, her voice trembling with fear, made the first frantic call to 911. Word of the fire spread through the small town like wildfire itself. At the Flora Fire Department, the alarm sounded, jolting the volunteer firefighters from their sleep. Within minutes, the fire engine, its lights flashing and siren blaring, raced towards Columbia Street. Inside the burning house, Galen Rose was jolted awake by the acrid smell of smoke. Disoriented and struggling to breathe, she realized with a surge of terror that her home was on fire. Her children, her 4 precious daughters, were asleep in their rooms. Coughing and choking on the thick smoke, she stumbled down the hallway, her maternal instincts overriding her fear. She screamed for her children, her voice hoarse and desperate, but only the roar of the fire answered her. The Flora fire truck arrived at the scene, its arrival heralded by the insistent blare of its siren. The firefighters, their faces grim, were met by a scene of utter devastation. The Rose House was fully engulfed in flames, the fire raging with an almost demonic fury. Unrolling hoses and adjusting their breathing apparatuses, the firefighters sprang into action. Water, a precious and inadequate weapon against the inferno, arced through the night air, momentarily pushing back the flames. The roar of the flames was deafening. The heat, intense and suffocating, pushed the firefighters back. They had trained for this, yet nothing could have prepared them for the sheer ferocity of the inferno. Hoses were unfurled with practiced precision, water pumped with relentless force. The house, once a symbol of family and security, was now a skeletal frame, its interior consumed by the insatiable hunger of the fire. Word of the fire spread through the small town, like wildfire itself. Soon, a crowd gathered at a safe distance, their faces illuminated by the eerie orange glow of the flames. Among them were off-duty firefighters roused from their sleep by the sound of sirens. In the face of such devastation, the community of Flora rallied. Their individual acts of courage and compassion weaving a fragile tapestry of support and resilience. As the first rays of dawn pierced through the smoke-filled sky, the fire began to subside. The flames, finally subdued by the relentless efforts of the firefighters, were reduced to smoldering embers. Exhausted but undeterred, the firefighters continued to douse the remains of the house with the water. It was then, amidst the ruins, that a glimmer of hope emerged. A firefighter, sifting through the debris, stumbled upon a small, charred object, a family photo, its edges singed but its surface miraculously intact. As the sun rose higher in the sky, casting a cold, clear light on the devastation, the grim task of searching for answers began. Fire investigators, their faces grim and focused, arrived at the scene, their every move observed by the silent crowd that had gathered at a safe distance. Every piece of debris, every charred timber, every fragment of glass held a potential clue. The investigators, their movements precise and methodical, meticulously combed through the ruins, their eyes searching for any sign that could shed light on the cause of the fire. The community, still reeling from the shock of the tragedy, waited anxiously for answers. Whispers of arson circulated, fueled by grief and a desperate need to make sense of the unimaginable. The authorities, however, remained tight-lipped, their faces betraying nothing of their thoughts. Only time and a thorough investigation would reveal the truth behind the Flora fire, a truth that would prove to be far more complex and heartbreaking than anyone could have imagined. The silence after the fire was deafening. Gone was the cheerful cacophony of children's laughter. The swings in the Rose family's front yard hung motionless. The rocking chair on the porch was a charred wreck. The community struggled to comprehend the loss. The loss of these 4 young lives sent shockwaves through the community. In the days following the fire, memories of the Rose girls surfaced everywhere. each one a poignant reminder of the vibrant lives that had been tragically cut short. At Flora Community Park, the swings hung motionless, the silence broken only by the gentle creaking of the chains. At Carroll Elementary School, their desks sat empty, adorned with bouquets and hand-drawn cards filled with messages of love. The echoes of the Rose Girls' laughter now reverberated in the silences they left behind. Grief, a powerful and unpredictable force, swept through Flora, uniting its residents in a shared sense of loss and sorrow. Neighbors who had rarely spoken now found solace in each other's company. Their shared tears, a testament to the depth of their collective pain. Candlelight vigils were held, the flickering flames, a symbol of hope and remembrance. Photos of the Rose Girls, their smiles radiant, their eyes sparkling with life, were displayed prominently, ensuring that their memory would live on. At the local church, which quickly became a sanctuary for the grieving community, prayers were offered, hymns were sung, and stories were shared, each one a testament to the impact the four young girls had had on the lives of those around them. Donations poured in from neighboring towns and beyond, a testament to the power of human compassion in the face of tragedy. Funds were established to help cover funeral expenses and to support Galen, who was now facing the unimaginable task of rebuilding her life without her precious daughters. In the midst of their profound grief, the people of Flora found strength in their unity, their shared sorrow, forging a bond that transcended age, background, and belief. As the initial shock of the tragedy began to subside, the daunting task of picking up the pieces commenced. The charred remains of the Rose home, a constant reminder of the devastating loss, were carefully dismantled, the debris cleared away, leaving behind a vacant lot, the scorched earth, a silent testament to the fire's fury. Counselors and grief support groups were made available to help the community cope with the emotional fallout of the tragedy. Teachers and school administrators worked tirelessly to provide support and guidance to students struggling to comprehend the loss of their classmates. Local businesses stepped up, offering their support in any way they could. Restaurants donated meals to families in need. Grocery stores collected food and clothing donations. Contractors volunteered their time and resources to help rebuild what had been lost. The healing process was slow, arduous, and often painful. But through it all, the resilient spirit of the Flora community shone through. Determined to honor the memory of the Rose Girls, residents rallied together, offering support, comfort, and a glimmer of hope in the midst of unimaginable darkness. The physical scars on the landscape were the most immediate and visible reminders of the tragedy. The shell of the Rose House, a blackened skeleton against the clear Indiana sky, served as a constant, painful reminder. The once vibrant garden, a testament to Galen's love of nature, was reduced to ash. The fire had consumed not just a home, but a symbol of hope and security. It left a void on Columbia Street, mirroring the emptiness in the hearts of Flora's residents. Weeks turned into months, The charred remnants stood untouched, marking the spot where laughter and dreams had perished. The physical scars were accompanied by a deeper, more insidious wound, the psychological toll of the tragedy. The fire left an indelible mark on the community, casting long shadows of fear and sadness. The scent of smoke served as a sensory trigger, igniting flashbacks and nightmares. Parents held their children tighter, haunted by the image of the burning house. Sleep became elusive, with insomnia fueled by recurring nightmares. The nights were long and filled with restless unease, punctuated by sirens. As the initial shock subsided, questions and doubts began to ripple through the community. The fire, once seen as a tragic accident, became shrouded in suspicion. Rumors spread, fueled by speculation and a need to make sense of the senseless. Authorities released few details, intensifying the unease. Suspicion took root, poisoning the bonds of trust. Neighbors, once supportive, now eyed each other with suspicion. Whispers of troubled relationships and possible revenge circulated. The finger of blame shifted from one potential culprit to another. The community, once united, was now a breeding ground for doubt and mistrust. The road to healing for Flora would be long and arduous, marked by setbacks and small victories. Physical scars, though fading, serve as permanent reminders of the tragedy. The empty lot where the Rose House once stood holds a sense of emptiness, a silent testament to the loss. Psychological scars, deeper and more insidious, take longer to heal. Amidst grief, signs of hope and resilience emerge, speaking to the indomitable spirit of the human heart. The community, though fractured, began to knit itself back together, drawing strength from shared memories and acts of kindness. The Flora fires, a tragedy etched in the town's memory, became a turning point. The initial shock and grief gave way to a steely resolve. The community refused to be defined by the disaster. They chose to find meaning in the ashes. They channeled their grief into action, ensuring the memory of the Rose Girls would live on. The story of the Flora fires is not just a story of loss, but a story of resilience. It's a testament to the power of community and the unwavering human spirit. The scars of that fateful night remain, etched into the landscape and hearts. But Flora, like the mythical phoenix, rose from the ashes, stronger and more united. The Flora fires serve as a poignant reminder of the enduring strength of the human heart. To this day, the Flora fires remain unsolved. Someone out there knows something. And for the sake of Kayana, Kayara, Kirel, and Kiani, I ask you to please come forward and tell the police what you know. These 4 girls deserve justice, and their mother, Galen R., deserves closure. The community of Flora has shown incredible resilience, but the weight of unanswered questions still lingers. The truth is out there, and with it, the chance to bring peace to a grieving family. If you have any information, no matter how small, please find the courage to speak up. Together, we can honor the memory of these innocent lives and ensure that justice is served.